All right, so when people think about Bristol, Tennessee, they normally think about three different things: the birthplace of country music, Bristol Motor Speedway, and South Holston Lake. But just those three things don't tell you everything that it's like to live in Bristol and the surrounding area. Because honestly, living in Bristol is completely dependent on what specific area. You could live in a charming older home near downtown. You could live in the county in a beautiful split forward with a little bit of land. Or you can roughly drive 15 minutes to the east and be really, really close to the lake and beautiful mountain views. And that is specifically what Google is not going to explain to you. Bristol is not just one experience. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the map of Bristol, the housing market, the pros and the cons, the views, and who Bristol is good and not good for. Hey y'all, if we have not connected yet, my name is Dale Slivka, my nickname is DJ, and I am a local real estate agent here in Johnson City, Tennessee, and the surrounding areas. I cover Bristol, I cover all sorts of areas around here. I relocated to this area in 2019, and when I did, there was nothing like what I'm making right now. I'm making content to help you decide two things. Number one, is this area a good fit for you? And when the answer is yes, what specific part of Northeast Tennessee is the best fit for you? So please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put new videos out every single week. Like this video and give me some sort of comment to understand how I could help serve you guys better. So like I mentioned before, I created this channel to help you, the relocator, figure out which area is the best. And this is a fantastic video to help understand that, because Bristol is one of those areas that you may think you have an understanding of in your head, but when you come visit it and after you see this video, I guarantee you, you're gonna have a completely different understanding of this area. Okay, so the first thing Google is not going to tell you about Bristol is where you're looking is so heavily dependent on the specific area. So what do I mean by that? Bristol is literally, the city of Bristol is cut in half by the state line of Virginia and Tennessee. State Street is right in the middle of everything. So you could be on State Street and on one side be in Virginia and on the other side be in Tennessee. So this makes Bristol really, really unique, but it also may make relocating to this area super confusing. So just because you're looking for homes online that say Bristol, you also need to make sure that you're going to look at the specific state tag. And not only does this matter because of the state and the income taxes and everything that goes into living in two different parts of the United States, but it also goes into schools, different sales tax structures, property tax structures, and overall a different quality of life, which could really mean just 500 feet. Even within Bristol, your lifestyle can change dramatically within a 15-minute drive. So we could take one spot on the map, maybe off Volunteer Parkway, and in 15 minutes, you could be downtown eating at Bristol Bagel and Bakery. And in the same 15 minutes, you could be on South Holston Lake enjoying some gorgeous mountain views and spending an afternoon fishing or hanging out on the lake with your family. Another point may be that one home is going to give you super easy access to the Pinnacle, which has a significant amount of shopping, restaurants, and places to spend to make memories together as a family. One of my favorites is Just Jump. And then another home in the same specific zip code and city can give you lake access, gorgeous mountain views, elevation, and privacy. Here's the thing, these places both have the Bristol address. So in your head, you may think Bristol is a yes or a no. We really need to focus on what your lifestyle requires, so then we can determine what part of Bristol best fits into that. So let's talk location. Bristol is right off 81 on the state line. We already talked about that. But because it's right off the interstate, it makes it super easy to get to places like Kingsport, Johnson City, Abingdon, and the rest of Southwest Virginia. But again, depending on the specific part of Bristol you're looking at, the airport could be 5 to 10 minutes away or 20 to 30. Shopping at the Pinnacle could be a 5-minute drive or a 30-minute drive. Downtown may be super convenient, or you may have better time going to downtown Elizabethton. And lake access may actually be a bigger focal point than you thought because it's so close to your home. So when buyers connect with me, buyers like you, and they say, hey, Bristol is on my list, my first question is not, great, what type of home are you looking for? My first question is, okay, what is your lifestyle like? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? Then we figure out what part of Bristol best fits into your lifestyle. Because overall in Bristol, you're gonna have the same city name in numerous different places, but a different quality of life depending on which area. Okay, another thing Google's not gonna tell you is that Bristol just doesn't have a one-size-fits-all as far as homes go. If you were looking in Gray or Boones Creek, I could pretty much tell you the overall type of home you're gonna get. But in Bristol, near downtown, you're gonna get older homes with charm, or maybe a fixer-upper. You may see craftsman-style brick homes, cottages, and then homes that have been flipped where someone has came in and provided some upgrades, maybe mechanical, maybe just aesthetic, and put it back on the market. But as you move farther away from the downtown, the home styles start to change. You'll probably find traditional subdivisions, you'll find a lot of split foyers there, some raised ranches, which is where it's one level and then a basement underneath, maybe finished or not. You'll also find new construction, but also rural properties with land and some space and privacy. But also too, closer to the lake, you're gonna find homes with gorgeous views, but with lake life designed in mind. But around the lake, you'll probably find homes designed around views. So that could mean a ton of different things: higher roof lines, huge windows, long driveways, and elevated home sites. But in my opinion, some of the best views in Bristol are gonna be found in the southeast part of the area. But the view's gonna come with the trade-off. The driveway may be a lot longer and steeper. It may not even be finished, it could just be gravel. You could have more exterior and yard maintenance. Or you could have a longer drive to daily and weekly anchors like the grocery store, the gym, or your doctor's office. So something to think about when we're looking at charming older homes is, what are the mechanicals like? Have they been updated, or are they original? And then also for rural properties, some questions we may want to ask ourselves in the Bristol, Tennessee area is it on a septic system? Is it on its own well, or is it shared with a neighbor? Is there a private road to the property, or do you share an easement through someone else's property, or does someone have an easement through your property for their property? And all this is good and well unless it's documented, because then once it's not and it was just a handshake agreement, that works until it doesn't. But things also may be important, like if there's a retaining wall, what is the drainage, what is the sloping, is there a French drain installed, and is there internet availability? All of this needs to be figured out in the due diligence period. So if you're interested in a home, we need to first figure out what needs to be true in order for you to enjoy it and not regret your relocation to this area. And then from there, we check the boxes to make sure you're comfortable. So a beautiful home and gorgeous views can make you fall in love with a property and the area, but the home inspection could quickly make that honeymoon phase disappear. All right, so what are the local anchors of Bristol? If you look on Google, they're gonna tell you some things. This is what I'm gonna tell you. In my opinion, what Google should be telling you the main points of living in Bristol are focused around. Number one is gonna be downtown Bristol, State Street. There is so many cool and unique places to visit, restaurants, locally owned businesses, shops, you name it, State Street is going to have it. The second part, and probably the thing that draws so many people to the area twice a year for NASCAR racing, is going to be Bristol Motor Speedway. But what you may not know is there actually is a drag racing track there as well. And one of my favorite parts about Bristol Motor Speedway is the Christmas lights they have where you actually drive on the racetrack. The next point is the Pinnacle. Now this is a huge development in our area where there are places like Bass Pro, all major chain restaurants, and tons of shopping, as well as a movie theater. Literally anything you could think of, you're going to find at the Pinnacle. The next point is South Holston Lake. Now this is one of the most beautiful areas because you're on the mountains, but the South Holston River is one of the best fly fishing rivers in North America. The amount of fish per river mile is so high that people from all across the world come here to fish the river. There's so many fish there that I even caught a fish on the river, and I've been fly fishing twice in my life. Literally had the line just in there waiting and a fish caught it. That's how many fish are in this river. And the last part, and one of my favorites, is Steel Creek Park. Now tell me, what park in America can you go to a nature center, ride a little train, canoe or paddleboard on a lake, play golf, go to a splash pad, and ride your bike or hike on a course? As well as playing in a river. There is very few places like this in America, and it is right here in Bristol, Tennessee. For you, the relocator looking to relocate to Bristol, Tennessee, what we need to figure out, what are the main points of life that are important to you? Is it healthcare? Is it being close to a grocery store? Is it being close to locally raised food? Is it being close to your job? Is it the school system? Is it the church you attend? Is it being on the lake? Is it finding a gym that you can connect with? Or is it being close to the airport or just being in walking distance of downtown? Here's the key point I want you to understand. Don't choose the home based on a place you visit once a month. Choose it based on the places that you visit 3 to 4 times a week. Okay, so one of the most underrated parts of Bristol, and likely if you type in this to Google, you'll get this left off, which is the mountain views. When you think in Tennessee about mountain views, you think about maybe Greene County, Roan Mountain, or Buffalo Mountain in Johnson City. But what you're not going to get in a Google search is the mountain views in the eastern part of Bristol. So because of South Holston Lake and the elevation changes, this all can create some of the most gorgeous views in our area. You can find a home where the view becomes a major part of the property. But you also have access to hiking, fishing, boating, parks, and outdoor recreation in the broader area within Bristol. So in my opinion, that gives Bristol a strong appeal for relocating retirees and families, as well as outdoor enthusiasts. But really, you need to figure out where you're going to live on the map. Some people don't mind living farther out, while others will give up being close to the lake just to be closer to the grocery store, since they're gonna visit that 3 to 4 times a week. Here's a key point. There's a major difference between wanting a lake view in Bristol, Tennessee and living a lake life in Bristol, Tennessee. Okay, so the next thing Google is not going to be able to tell you about Bristol, Tennessee is what you're going to get for your budget. So if you have $400,000 to spend in Bristol, Tennessee, you are going to see so many different things pop up in your home search. 2 homes at the same price point can offer a significantly different value, but both have a Bristol, Tennessee address. One may be a home in a subdivision with a usable yard, but not a ton of square footage and not really updated. And then another may be a completely updated home and really, really large, but older and in downtown. And another at the $400K price point may be really small but have a lake view. These are all different types of homes at your budget. So the price is just going to be way different than just a simple arithmetic of home price divided by square footage. There's no one size fits all when it comes to price per square foot in Bristol, Tennessee. Things that are going to affect that, and Google's not going to tell you this stuff, is the lot and its usability, the condition of the home and the updates, the access you have to multiple different parts that go into your life, grocery store, healthcare, gym, etc. The renovations or updates to the home and the kitchen or the bathroom, and proximity to important anchors, the hospital, Steel Creek Park, Bristol Motor Speedway, the thing that you focus on the most. So the unicorn homes are the ones that check the most boxes. Updated and really nice moving condition, usable flat lot, convenient location, gorgeous view, great curb appeal, and an overall functional layout. All these things are going to go into account for how quickly this is going to move, and I guarantee you when all these things are put together, the home will move quickly. The reason being is because they're going to appeal not only to you as the relocating buyer, but to local buyers as well. So this happens all the time. People come into town, we sit down, we have a meeting, we look at all the homes currently on the market. But what are we looking at? Homes that have been on market 14 plus days, 60 plus days, 90 plus days. There's a reason. We don't need to look at these homes and make a decision about the market without at least getting 2 weeks of looking at what's came to market, what's gone under contract quickly. Then, in my opinion, we have a better understanding of what our budget of maybe around $400,000 is going to get us in this area. Here's another key point. Don't make your offer or your interest based on how long a home has been on the market. Don't say, well, this thing's been on the market 90 days. Do you think we can get it for 60%? Probably not. It's been on market that long because they're not moving moving on the price. You really need to understand the demand for these specific types of properties, and that can only happen if we sit down, have a meeting, talk it out, and look at what's closed, how long something's gone under contract, how long it took to go under contract, and what are buyers passing by. Here's the overall thing I want to tell you. The market in Bristol, Tennessee at or around 400K, and I picked that because that's the average price point right now. It depends heavily on the type of property and how many different no's are removed. All right, so who is Google going to be a good fit for? If you want access to both Tennessee and Southwest Virginia, Google's going to be a good place for you. If you're working from home and you have a job that you base it upon the state you live in, you're going to want to live in Tennessee. Why? No state income tax, lower property tax. Yes, the sales tax is higher, but if you're right on the border, just go to Virginia where the sales tax is lower to buy everything. If you want to have interstate access without living in the big city, Bristol's going to be good for you. Another reason Bristol's going to be good for you, you want really easy access to a historic downtown with events, live music, and a ton of festivals. Another reason it's going to be good for you, you want to be close to South Holston Lake. Maybe you like fishing, being out on the lake. Bristol's going to be a good fit for you. If you want the possibility of a home with a mountain or lake view, you definitely have to look at Bristol. It's probably going to be a good fit. If you want to be close to shopping, you're going to be close to the Pinnacle if you live in Bristol. If you're a retiree who wants access to outdoor activities, hiking, views, you have to look at Bristol. It's may be a good fit for you. But if you're a family looking to make memories outdoors, going to the park, and you don't want to live in a neighborhood or suburban environment, Bristol is going to be a good fit for you. And finally, if you're a remote worker, you don't care where you live in Tennessee, but you want to focus on internet availability, Bristol is going to be a good fit for you because there's a lot of access to fiber internet within the Bristol area. So not just downtown, but the surrounding areas as well. Okay, so who is Google not a good fit for? If you're looking for a large nightlife, city life, etc., multiple different 5-star restaurants, a Michelin star restaurant, Bristol's not going to be a good fit for you. If you're looking for corporate America, places where you can get a job, move up, Bristol just doesn't have that many opportunities there. If your job requires direct flights to different parts of America, our local Tri-Cities airport may not be a good fit for you. You're probably going to have to drive to a place like Asheville or Knoxville. If you want a highly walkable area like Nashville or Chattanooga, Bristol's not going to be a good fit. We have State Street downtown, and that's about it as far as walkability. If you don't want to depend on a vehicle, you want to be highly bike or walking focused, you may have a tough time in Bristol, as again, everything is going to be a little spread out. If you want a mountain view property or a lake property, but you don't want a longer driveway, elevated property lot, Bristol may not be a good fit for you. Also, you may get really frustrated if you don't have a good understanding of the home search engine you're using. If you're looking at Bristol and you just type in that city name without using the state filter. And Bristol's not going to be a good fit for you if you're only focusing on price. The cheaper homes are cheap for a reason. And one thing to add, there's going to be a ton of traffic around Bristol, specifically the Bristol Motor Speedway when the race is coming to town. Honestly, a lot of people just get out when that happens, because if you're going down Highway 11E, it is really tough to get through if you are basing a daily commute off of that. What I want you to understand is the mistake is not choosing Bristol. The mistake is choosing a home in Bristol but not understanding what type of lifestyle you're going to get. So we've made it to the very end. This is a video about what Google won't tell you about Bristol. We've talked about it the whole time, but let's just hit some highlights before we end our time together. Your home is only going to be one part of your decision to live in Bristol, Tennessee. You're probably going to have to evaluate the direction that you're going to drive every single day for work, the things like the road you'll use, the interstate, whether the lot you're looking at is actually usable. Here's a hint: if it looks sloped in a photo, it's going to be 10 times worse in person. You may look really close to downtown Bristol, the lake, the pinnacle for shopping, Steeles Creek Park, but what you really need to understand is what that commute is going to look like. Plug the two addresses in together and you may see a disconnect between what you think and what is actually reality. This one may seem like common sense, but sometimes, again, depending on the search engine you use, you really have to make sure you're in Bristol, Tennessee and not Bristol, Virginia. This is, again, a huge point. Google is not going to tell you based on one address if the home is going to support the lifestyle that you already have. Because a point to bring up is you can look at a home, you could love it, you could purchase it, you could relocate to this area, and then realize the home in the area you bought in doesn't support your daily, weekly, or monthly lifestyle. So this is what it boils down to. You as the relocating buyer need to really focus on the question of what is my lifestyle going to look at? Not, hey, I really like this home, let's move here because of the house. This is backwards and this is how people get buyer's remorse. You really need to ask yourself, what does a normal Tuesday look like for me? And then once we have that answer, we fill in the blanks of what area and what home is going to fit the best for you. So when I say what does a normal Tuesday look like, what I mean is how often are you going to the grocery store? What's your acceptable drive time to your doctor's office? What's your acceptable drive time to your grocery store? How often do you want to go to the gym? How often do you want to exercise or be outside? Do you want a neighborhood you can be active in? Do you want to be close to a church or a place of worship? What's the acceptable time for that? How private do you want your neighborhood to be? How not private do you want it to be? What's acceptable? What's not? These are all things Google can't tell you about Bristol, Tennessee. That's why you need to sit down with someone who can help you and advise you. That just so happens to be me. So if you're thinking about relocating to Tennessee and Bristol, Tennessee is on the list for you to check out, this is what I need you to do first. Reach out to me, go to my website and get in touch with me. What I want to do, get your information. Let's connect, let's talk, let me give you some advice, and let's see first if this area, if Tennessee is even good for you. And then once we decide yes, we decide what part. Bristol may be completely wrong for you, or it could be the best thing that's ever happened to you. The only way we know is if we can connect, speak, and put a really good plan in place. Next, after that's done, I need you to visit the area. It does nothing if all you do is watch my videos and look at homes on the internet. You have to spend time here. That's really gonna help you decide if this area is the best fit for you. I normally recommend at least 2 days to be here. My job is not to just send you homes to look at, unlock the door, and get the contract ready. That's just the beginning of the job. The job is to help you first understand the area, ask you questions, and give you advice. That's why I created this channel. There was nothing like this when I relocated here in 2019, and that's why I think I'm a great fit to help you. My name is Dale Slivka. I go by DJ. I work with the Slivka Property Group at Keller Williams in Johnson City, and I cannot wait to connect with you.